If you're finding it difficult to make profit in laundry bar soap business, this video is for you. In this video, I'll teach you how to make profit in your laundry bar soap business and also how you can produce this brand laundry bar soap. It's very easy. It doesn't really cost much. So if you're interested, all you have to do is to watch this video to the end. Now let's get down to business. Hi friend, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. In this video today, I'll be showing you how to make brown laundry bar soap for commercial purpose. And to make this, here are all the requirements. The first thing you need is a measuring scale to measure out all the required ingredients. And just in case you don't have a measuring scale, please, while getting the chemical, just tell them to measure it for you. Now moving on, we start by measuring out the first ingredient, and the first ingredient I have here is sodium hydroxide, which is also known as caustic soda. Now we're going to use this to prepare our lye solution. And just in case you're new to soap making, a mixture of water and caustic soda is called lye solution. And this is how to prepare lye solution. Pour water in a bowl, and after that gently pour caustic soda into the water. And when you pour caustic soda into the water, there'll be a chemical reaction that will force the water to heat up. Please gently stir, and also make sure you're wearing a hand glove, as caustic soda is corrosive. You wouldn't want that on your skin. Now go on and gently stir this until the caustic soda is properly dissolved, and that is how to make your lye solution. And after that, just set it aside and allow the lye solution to sit for about 40 to 45 minutes before using it to produce your bar soap. Now after that, you can move on to the next process. For the next process, you're going to need 100 ml of water. Measure the 100 ml of water and set it aside. Now in this production, we're using a total of 1200 ml of water to produce a soap. 1200 ml of water, and out of the 1200 ml of water, I used 600 ml to prepare the lye solution, and then we have 600 ml remaining, and I removed 100 ml out of the 600 ml, so I have 500 ml remaining in the cup. Now we're going to go ahead and measure the next ingredient, and the next ingredient I have here is sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. Now this sodium sulfate is going to serve as a filler in this production, and moving on, I will tell you the reason why we need filler in this production. Now pour the sodium sulfate into the remaining 500 ml of water and stir until it's dissolved. You need to make sure that you dissolve it properly. This is very important. Make sure to stir until it's dissolved. Then you can move on to the next process. And after dissolving the sodium sulfate, the next ingredient you need is calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. And for the calcium carbonate, we're going to mix it together with the sodium sulfate. So you're going to measure out the calcium carbonate, and after that, pour it into the sodium sulfate solution, which is the water that we used earlier to dissolve sodium sulfate. So pour the calcium carbonate into the sodium sulfate solution and stir to dissolve. After stirring for a while, you can set it aside. But before pouring it into your soap, make sure to stir before you pour. Just set it aside and continue with the next process after dissolving it at this point, because when you leave it, it will start to settle. So before you pour it, make sure to stir before you pour it into your soap. So please pay close attention. Now moving on, get a mixing bowl. It's time to make our soap, and you'll be needing two different oil. The first oil I have here is PK oil, which is palm kernel oil. And for the PK oil, I'll be using 1000 ml of PK oil. 1000 ml of PK oil, and that is 1 liter of PK oil. And here I have bleached palm oil, and I use chemical to bleach this palm oil. Now I've noticed something about using palm oil to make bar soap. Honestly, I think that using chemical bleached palm oil to make your laundry bar soap is better than when you use the heat bleached palm oil. Now reason is because we're using chemicals like hydrogen peroxide and sulfonic acid, and they can actually help to break those fats. Now remember, palm oil does not really give you a foamy soap, rather it gives you a hard bar. Now, if you actually use the heat bleached palm oil, it becomes too greasy that it doesn't allow the soap to really foam well. So I think with the help of these two chemicals, sulfonic acid and hydrogen peroxide, it helps the soap to actually neutralize too much fat or greasiness, so as to allow the soap to foam, if that makes sense. So for the bleached palm oil, I'll be using 500 ml. So all you have to do, what I did earlier was to heat up the palm kernel oil first. I did not combine the palm oil and the PK oil before I heat up the PK oil, because I bleached the palm oil with chemical, so I don't need to heat it up. So all I did was to heat the PK oil, and when it was warm enough, then I poured the bleached palm oil into the PK oil, and the temperature is okay. Now at this point, go on and pour the lye solution, and this is the lye solution we prepared earlier, which is a mixture of water and caustic soda. Now when you pour your palm oil into the PK oil after heating the PK oil, please make sure it's not too hot. You just have to be warm. And after that, go in with your bleached palm oil. And when you combine the PK oil and your palm oil together, you can go in with your lye solution, and then you stir until your soap gets to trace. Now, when you start to mix your soap, especially if you're using a spatula, in case you're making this in a large batch, please, you need to exercise patience. You need to stir this until the oil and lye solution is completely mixed. Now, if you're in Nigeria, this is just the same consistency with pap. When you get to that stage where the soap batter is now like pap, just as you're seeing it in the video, then you know that your soap batter is ready. Please make sure there's no trace of oil in your soap batter, and also pay attention to the color. So you can see when you start to mix, you see that the color will start to change, and until everything is mixed, until you get the type of consistency you're seeing in the video, or I'll advise you, when making this soap, please make sure you're watching this video as well, so as to follow it up accordingly. So you can see the consistency. You can see that the oil and lye solution is completely combined, and at this point you can go on with the next process. So you can see this is after mixing this well. You can see the soap batter is ready, and this is trace. When you pour lye solution into the oil, that is saponification process, and when the soap starts to saponify, you need to mix it until it gets to trace, and this is trace. Now trace is when you get this thick consistency where there is no trace of oil or water in your mixture or in your soap batter. And after that, you're going to cover it and leave it to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. I left it for about 7 minutes, and this is after 7 minutes. Now, the reason why I covered the soap is that I want the soap to gel a little bit, but still I didn't want to leave it for so long, because it might actually make the soap to be lumpy. So to avoid your soap being lumpy, if you follow exactly this process and also cover it and leave it to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to get a jelly soap. Even if it's not going to be too jelly, but the texture is going to be very smooth and more like gel consistency. Now after leaving it to sit for 7 minutes, I make sure to mix properly before adding the following ingredients. Now the next ingredient I'm going to add here is fragrance. And adding fragrance is totally optional, but if you're making this for commercial purpose, you really need to add fragrance to your bar soap. Now when you add fragrance, you're going to mix it well. Make sure to mix very well, and after that you can then go on and add the following ingredients. Now pay attention to the consistency. You can see that the consistency is super good, and there is no separation. There's no trace of water or oil in the soap batter, and that's exactly how it should be. Now after adding the fragrance, mix well. Now it's time to add a mixture of your sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate. Now like I said earlier, before you pour the mixture into the soap batter, make sure to stir again, Make sure to stir it well, and after mixing well, then go ahead and pour it into the soap batter. Now when you pour this mixture of sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate solution into your soap batter, it will take time to completely mix it well, and at some point it will start looking like the water is separating from the soap batter. But just don't panic, keep mixing. It will get to a point where you can start adding the following ingredients and it will start to combine well. Now earlier on I mentioned that I will tell you the reason you need sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate in this production. Now originally, for this measurement of oil we have here, which is 1500 ml, the exact quantity of water needed for this production is 550 ml of water, or even 500 ml of water. Right now, to maximize profit, we increase the water quantity to 1200 ml, which in most cases some people can even increase it to 1500 ml. That is making it 1500 ml of oil and 1500 ml of water to maximize profit. Right now, because we added enough water, or because we increased the water, we need to add filler. So the sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate is acting as a filler that can help to bind the consistency. So it will help to bind the consistency, thereby helping the soap to solidify. And that is the essence of adding sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate. And I also added sodium silicate here, which will also help to bind the consistency as well as helping the soap to solidify. So that's it. And when you add the sodium silicate, go on and mix it well. And at this point, you notice that the soap batter will start to mix well, unlike when you added the sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate solution. There will not be any separation if you mix it well at this point. So go on and mix it until everything is smooth, and then you can introduce the next ingredient, which is totally optional. Adding this next ingredient is totally optional, but being that we increase the water quantity of this soup, it's important to add this next ingredient, which is foam booster. Adding foam booster is important, and not just any type of foam booster. You need a quality foam booster, and I'll be using an oil derived foam booster for this, which is cocomide. You can also call it cocoamide. So this cocomide is an oil derived foam booster. Is derived from coconut, so this will help to boost the foaming ability of the soap and also help to bind the consistency. Now pay attention when I pour this cocoamide into the soap batter and mix it. Pay attention how it's really going to change the consistency of this soap. Honestly, this is a game changer. Now just pay close attention. This is what I'm talking about. This foam booster will completely change the consistency of this soap to give you a smooth batter. Just take a look at it. And you can see that adding this cocomide is a good choice because it will help your soap batter to come out very smooth, and this will actually help the outcome of your soap. If you don't have a smooth soap batter, it's going to affect the outcome of your soap when your soap solidify. So it's important that when you're making your bar soap, be it laundry bar soap or any type of bar soap, it's important to make sure that you have a smooth soap batter so that the outcome of your bar soap will come out very smooth and beautiful. So it's very important, and this cocomide is really doing the job here for us. So it's not only going to help to boost the foaming ability of your soap, it's also going to help to bind the soap batter to give you a smooth batter, just as you're seeing it in the video. Can you see how beautiful this soap is looking? Honestly, you just need to give this a try. So that's it. Now moving on, remember we're making brown laundry bar soap, and looking at our soap batter, it's still looking white, so we need something to get us that brown color, right? And to get this, we'll be using sugar syrup, and I made this myself. I'll be posting the video after this one, so if you want to learn how to make your sugar syrup, you can check out the video. And also remember that I removed 100 ml of water from the remaining 600 ml that we had after preparing the lye solution. So we use 500 ml to prepare the sodium sulfate and calcium carbonate solution. Now this is the remaining 100 ml, and this is what I'm using it for. I use it to dilute the sugar syrup. Now reason is because in my experience, if I pour the sugar syrup direct into the soap, when the soap solidify, I notice this greasy effect for about after the first 1 week of the production, you will notice that there'll be this type of greasy effect. You know, when you dissolve sugar with water and when you touch it, especially when the water quantity is not really that much, you notice that greasy effect. So that is more like what I feel when I add the sugar syrup direct into the soap batter. So I prefer to dilute it with water before pouring it into the soap batter, so that way it will help to reduce the greasy effect, and once the soap solidify, it will come out dry and smooth. So that is the reason I removed the 100 ml of water earlier on. Now for the colorant, which is a sugar syrup, the measurement is up to you, depending on how you want the color. I think what I use here is about 50 ml, so you can actually add more if you want the color to pop really well. I think I prefer this color like this, but if you really want to get that brown color, you can go ahead and add more sugar syrup. The sugar syrup is actually good because sugar actually helps to boost foaming effect, and also it will add this moisturizing effect to the soap as well. So I think that really goes well with this. Yeah, but if you have any color that can also give you the brown colorant, you can also go for it. That is okay. So after mixing it well, you can then go on and pour it into a soap mold. I noticed that a lot of you guys have been complaining about not having soap mold to produce your laundry bar soap, and someone sent me a DM on Instagram sometime last week complaining about the same thing. So I promised to make this video to show you how you can actually make your laundry bar soap without a soap mold. So this is an alternative. You can try it out. Now this is an option for you if you don't have money to buy soap mold. You can use this option. So here I have carton. I covered the carton with a nylon bag, as you can see in the video. So you can use this method to mold your soap as a beginner. If you don't have money to buy soap mold, just get any portable carton that you can use to mold your soap depending on the quantity of your soap. So you can see how I did that. I just had to wrap it up with nylon bag and also make sure that it's smooth enough, and where when you pour your soap butter into it and after your soap has cured or after your soap has solidified, the soap will actually come out smooth. So that's it. You can use this process as a beginner until you get money to buy a soap mold, because honestly soap mold is super expensive. It's expensive to get soap mold, especially if you want to go for silicone soap mold. It's expensive unless you want to go for local soap mold, which they sell almost everywhere in Nigeria. So you can try and make your research. You can check GIG to see, is it GG or GIGI, yeah, something like that. So you can see if you can get contact of where you can get local soap mold. Yeah, so you can see, just pour your soap into your soap mold or your carton, wherever you have to mold your soap, and after that you can then leave it and allow it to sit for like 10 to 24 hours before you can unmold it in that set. Now this method is how you can make profit in soap making. Originally for this measurement of oil, all is required is about 550 ml of water, but because we are doing 45% of water and 55% of oil, we use almost the same amount of water to the oil. So that means adding enough oil to this and the calcium carbonate will help us to maximize profit in this production, which will help you to make profit as a beginner. So that's it. So this is after leaving it to sit for like 3 hours. This is just 3 hours, and I really needed to just cut this soap this night because I really need to post this video tomorrow. This is Saturday. Today is Saturday. I think what's the date? 16th of March. And I made this video on the 15th of March and I want to post it on the 16th of March, which is Sunday. So that's why I'm actually trying to cut this soap at this point. This is just barely 3 hours after producing the soap. So if you allow your soap to sit for about 10 to 12 hours, it's going to come out very strong. But at this point, it was already strong. The soap has already solidified. So I can just go on and cut the soap. So you can see how the soap turned out. Now look at the one I made with the carton. It's actually not that perfect. It's really not that perfect. But as a beginner, who doesn't have money to buy soap mold at this point? Instead of just sitting around, this is an option. After cutting your soap, you can use your knife to smoothen it until you are able to afford a soap mold. It's really not that bad, right? So you can see it turned out really beautiful. Honestly, it turned out really beautiful. You can hardly tell that I used carton to mold this soap. You see, so don't let anything to limit you. Enough of the procrastination. Stop saying you don't have money to start this business, because there are options for you to start this business, and I'm here to give you those tips. So you can see the soap turned out really beautiful. I think the brown color is really not that enough, but if you like, you can add more of the sugar serum just to increase the color. Is it sugar syrup? Yeah, sugar syrup. I'm saying sugar serum. So add more of the sugar syrup to increase the color, but please do not add excess of it. Yeah, just use a moderate amount. Yeah, but I think I love this color. It's actually perfect, and you can see that the soap is also perfect. Honestly, this is one of the best ways to make profit in laundry bar soap business. Like, just imagine using 1500 ml of oil to produce all this soap you're seeing here. Like, the total weight of this soap is about 3006 something, if I'm not mistaken. Just take a look at all the soap that we got here with just 1500 ml of oil. And also look at the sizes that I'm cutting here. Like, this size would be about 500 naira in the market. If you're in Nigeria, this size should be around 500 naira. So you can imagine, with just 1500 ml of oil, you can be able to produce all this soap. Now, just in case you're wondering if you can use 50% of water and 50% of oil, the answer is yes. But the thing there is that it's not just about profit all the time, right? You need to also consider quality, especially as someone who is new to this business. If you're just starting this business, you need to maintain quality so that you can be able to get customers first, right? Because when you use too much water and you're trying to make enough profit from the business, you might be lacking in quality, which can actually affect your business. So it's not bad if you use like 1200 ml of water and 1500 ml. Like I said earlier, the total amount of water that you needed in this soap is just 500 or 550 ml of water, but we're able to use 1200 ml of water. So even if it's not exactly the same size with your oil, you are still going to make enough profit, right? So you don't necessarily need to do 1500 ml of water and 1500 ml of oil. Okay, you still need quality, because the soap you're seeing here is just a mixture of lye solution and oil. So that oil and lye solution is the soap itself. So if you add too much water to make enough profit from this, you might be lacking in quality, and as it stands, you wouldn't want that to happen. And also make sure you use that particular foam booster, cocoamide. Cocoamide will actually help the outcome of this whole production. You can see how it actually boost the whole production. After I pour the cocoamide into the soap, you can see that it actually boosts the consistency. It actually binded the whole ingredient, and everything turned out really smooth, and that's exactly how it needs to be. So they sell it everywhere around you. You can make inquiries to see where you can buy cocoamide. So that's it. And just in case you want to also buy from me, I sell all these chemicals as well, so you can patronize me. I can help you to any place of a choice. So that's it. Now you can see, after trying the soap, you can see that it sells really well. It a foam really well, and with the help of the foam booster, you can see that the soap actually turned out really beautiful and it forms really well. Now after producing this soap, you need to allow it to sit for like a week or two before you start marketing it. Just like I always tell you guys, always allow your soap to cure properly. Now allowing your soap to cure will help the soap to harden, to help it to solidify very well, to come out very strong, because people really love hard bar. When your bar is really hard, they really like it. So they like when soap is really strong, and also when it forms really well. And those are the things you really need to look out for if you want to start laundry bar soap business. So friend, that's it, and that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Gifty and I'm super excited to welcome you into the gifting family. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. You can also leave your comments down below, and don't also forget to share this video to your friends. You can also make a video request. And now to my beautiful, wonderful and amazing gift teams, you guys know I love you so much. Thank you so much, and you guys do not forget that my online class is coming on. So if you're interested, do what to send us a DM now on WhatsApp to register. The training is started on the 7th of April. So if you're interested, just send us a DM on WhatsApp to register, and I'll see you there. So friend, I'll see you in my next video, but before then, stay blessed and keep loving one another. I love you guys. Bye.